Good morning, everybody. Gabe Jenkins back with you. Hope you're having a heck of a good day. I know I am. Back at school, going over a quick short video today. It is incredibly important, though, in terms of our understanding of how we need to be able to do technical drafting diagrams. And what we're going to talk about really quickly today is just proper measurement, just understanding how to use a ruler to make sure that we're measuring things correctly. And I know it's a skill that is very often taught in the elementary schools, but sometimes people miss it. And I want to make sure that I've covered it just to make sure that you know exactly what I'm expecting from you when you do your technical drawings so that you can measure things correctly and make sure that you're not making any simple mistakes. With that, I'm going to share my screen and get the camera going. Full screen. All right. So really first thing to note here, I'm using a ruler. I'm a little bit zoomed in right now, but I'm using a regular ruler that is good. It's in inches, so it's a foot long ruler, slightly longer than a foot actually, because there's a little bit of space over here on the left of the 0 and a little bit actually on the right of the 12. But it's a full-size ruler. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we can see, make sure we're as close as we can on what I really want you to focus on. So very first thing I want you to note is that it's in inches, right? And when we're looking at it, it goes from right in the beginning, everything is divided up in inches. So 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches. We write inches like this. We would say like 1 inch. We would do this, right? 1 inch would be written as a 1 with these 2 little quote marks next to it, and that denotes an inch. So this is the distance from here to here is 1 inch, right? And the ruler is obviously subdivided into smaller sections. So you see all these different tick marks. Some of them are larger, some of them are smaller. The one right in the middle is the 1/2 inch mark, and we would write that as 1/2 inches, right? So this is 1/2 inch, 2/2 of an inch, 2/2 is a whole. In between the 0 and the 1/2 inch, we have the 1/4, because 1/4 is 1/2 of half. And so we would write that as 1/4 inch, right? This is 3/4 inch. So far we're dividing the whole inch into quarters, since we have 1/4, 2/4 or a half, 3/4, and a whole, 4/4. In between 1 1/4 and in between each one of these quarter inches, there's a smaller hash mark, and that denotes the 1/8 inch mark, which we would write as 1/8 inch. And all of these smaller ones indeed mark 1/8 inches. So 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, right? Some of these are like 2/8 is the same as 1/4 as a fraction. Lastly, we have these very small things, which are 1/16 of an inch, and we would write that as like 1/16 of an inch. We went over as far as like this one way over here next to the 1, that would be 15/16, and just for an example, we would write that as 15/16 inches. All right. Just want to be clear when we're doing these that we always write the numerator on top with the dividing line there, and then the denominator on the bottom. Okay. So I'm just going to show you really quickly how to appropriately use the ruler. So if I make my long line like this, I'm going to zoom out so you can see it a little bit more. And I just want to be clear, when you're using your ruler, always put your 0 of your ruler right where the end of the line is. Sometimes people accidentally do this and put the end of the ruler there. That is not helpful. Always put the 0 of your ruler right where the end of the line is. And then you're just going to look across and you say, okay, it's bigger than 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch, 5 inch. So after the 5 inch mark, it goes past the 1/4, past the 1/2, a little bit past the 3/4, and we're left with really, we could say it is 7/8, or we could say this is 12/16, so that could be 13/16. I'll leave it up to you. The way we would write this, I think it's closer to the 13/16. So the way we would write this, we would say 5 and 13/16 inches. Okay, and that's how we do it. All right, that's it, everybody. That's all we're doing today, and I hope you find that it's very easy for you, and I hope you have a heck of a good day. All right, everybody. Bye.